Hi, welcome to Sort Your Screenshots. For those who don't know me, my name is Christie and I am a time, energy, and attention trainer. And I'm very big on helping people eliminate overwhelm, including in their digital lives. So today we are going to look at getting our screenshots sorted. And what we talk about here, you can also apply these principles to your desktop screenshots as well, and any other sort of collection of photos. So firstly, where are your screenshots? So whether you're on iPhone or Android, please just be sure to know where they are and make a note of how many screenshots you currently have in your folder. It's not that we're aiming to get to zero by the end of this class or ever really, because they are a useful tool, but knowing our starting number gives you fuel for the maintenance portion of this process. All right, let's get into it. So why do screenshots pile up? Well, firstly, maybe we've seen things that we want to buy in the future. Maybe we've seen a hairstyle, a recipe, an exercise, a hobby, a movie, something that we want to do, experience in the future. Maybe there's a news story that has sparked an idea. Maybe we're researching something and we're collecting different tidbits. Maybe we've screenshotted a portion of a podcast episode or an audiobook and want to go back to that point to revisit it. Yeah, there are many things as to what we are screenshotting. Conversations, images that we see, things like that. So what we've done here, just me spitballing these ideas, is started to think about categories. So hold those categories in mind as to why are you screenshotting. And they pile up because screenshots are future intentions. It's not clutter by accident. It's the idea that we're going to do this in the future at a later time. So that's why they're piling up, because for many people, we're not doing the second step, which I'll come to shortly. But why is it important? Why is it important to even have this class? Well, someone said to me that their screenshots are their digital doom piles. It's a very negative way of looking at something that's living in your phone, in your pocket, in your bag. And we need to change that. It's a useful tool, but they can add to mental and visual overload. So you may identify with this, as in it's hard to find what matters if they've all piled up. There becomes this creation of a quiet background stress and digital overwhelm. So decision fatigue, which is also linked to how much access we do have to different things as well. But this buildup in our personal space leads to overwhelm. And cloud space fees. So I have worked with a number of clients to reduce their screenshots and the different items on their phone in order to avoid having to purchase more space. So it saves you money as well as helping your headspace to be on top of your screenshots. So today we are going to be looking at this flow: capture, sort, track. If you've been to my capture, sort, track class, then you'll be aware of this already. I will be repeating this class later in the year. But essentially, part one, capture, is what the screenshot is. You've already done capture. You've captured the information that you want. And now we're moving to step two, which is sort. So we're sorting that into what are we doing with it? Where does it need to go? And then tracking is that final step of checking in. Have I done the thing? Do I still need the thing? And being aware of where we are up to with that piece of information. You can think of it like this. So capturing is going to the supermarket, getting all your ingredients, coming home and sorting that food, those ingredients, into the fridge, the freezer, the pantry, or even the bathroom is the sort. And then tracking is going, oh, those vegetables look a little wilty. I'm going to make a soup. Or, oh, we are low on shampoo. I better add that to the list. So that is a very real way that you are already doing this workflow. So let's apply it to our screenshots. We will be applying these principles to our screenshots as part of the sorting flow. So everything needs a home, or our folder, our phone just stays noisy. Fewer categories beat complex systems. So we don't want to have folders within folders within folders within folders. That just makes it hard to find anything. So the fewer categories you can identify, the more streamlined your system will be. It makes it easier in the future to find things, because I'm not sure if anyone's had that experience where one day you name something very logical to yourself, and then maybe a week later, a month later, you go to find that thing and can't remember what you named it because it was too complex. So we want to keep things simple. And thirdly, the principle we're going to lean into is if you don't need it anymore, delete it, get rid of it. So we are streamlining our space, decluttering, and making space for new ideas and new experiences. So our first step in our process will be to assess and sort. So essentially, we're categorizing. And common categories that crop up in screenshots are temporary references, long-term information, memories, and sentimental items. So let's dive into this. So temporary references involve directions, reminders, conversation snippets. Long-term information include recipes, travel ideas, important images. And memories and sentimental items include funny moments, funny memes, zoom ins on photos that you want to keep, celebrations, saved posts. So the second part of that, identifying, assessing and sorting, and then finding homes for those categories. So we've thought about those categories, and now we're going to find homes for them. So some screenshots will stay on your phone. Others don't need to stay there. So moving important screenshots to the right place is our next step. So I'm going to run through some possible options as to where you might put these screenshots. The first being into your main camera album. If they're memories or photos of people you care about, if you need the date in place. And I understand that this is easier for Android users. The second one is the Notes app. So sharing to your Notes app and then deleting the original. And then we have creating a folder or album, like in this image here. So, and this is on Android. So creating a folder by category. So the album is to do, and then the folders within that are you can have receipts, inspiration, work, wish list, travel, shopping, whatever suits you. You can see my example there. You can also email yourself or put stuff in the cloud, especially if it's like a receipt and attached to a warranty and things like that. So you're getting it out of your phone just in case you were to lose your phone. Or you can set up those syncing options to make sure that it has been captured on the cloud. And finally, create a dedicated folder for screenshots that you often take. So this might be separate to that to do album example. But so, for example, I like collecting inspirational quotes and then I use them on Instagram. So I have a dedicated folder for that category that I regularly take. So think about what do you regularly take and then make a category, make a folder of that so that you can often sort through and pop them in the best place. Okay, well, we are going to take 15 minutes to get into it. We're going to home your screenshots and delete those that you don't need. So, and remember that less is more when it comes to those categories. So, we're going to go to your screenshots folder, start with the most recent, and then see how many old ones you can delete. So, assess and sort, and then see about creating homes for your screenshots that you want to keep. So, you might be surprised by the overlap here. So, how quickly some categories come together by just getting into it. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to get in touch with me after the class. But I'm going to set 15 minutes. And if you need more time, being that we're on the video, do pause and give yourself more time. All right. All right, welcome back. So, how was that 15 minutes of focusing on your screenshots? It's amazing what you can do in just even a small amount of time. So, I hope that that was your experience. So, let's have a look at maintaining this good work. So, sorting is something that you will have to do regularly. But if you came across some things that you were like, why did I screenshot that? Or, oh, okay, interesting. Here are some screenshot alternatives. So firstly, stop and think before you grab that screenshot. Do you really need it? Use the save feature in socials. So use the native save features in the different platforms. So essentially, you're using someone else's cloud space to save that image, that inspiration, and then add a reminder to your calendar to look at those different inboxes, because the flow of capture, sort, track, part of tracking is realizing that you will have multiple areas that contain your work, your inspiration, and yeah, tracking it gives you that opportunity to touch base with those different areas. Another alternative is to share links to yourself through email or WhatsApp, or save it in your notes. That as a way of rather than screenshotting, so then you have some links that you can action. And screen record for step-by-step instructions. Instead of taking 10 screenshots individually, can you send someone a video? Will that be a more streamlined, efficient process? So those are some alternatives going forward for you to think about rather than building this collection of screenshots up again. But as I've been saying through this class, we're not looking to get rid of screenshots completely, just reduce them, and also put in a routine, just like we did there with that 15 minutes, to make it a habit of going through those screenshots and sorting them and discarding the ones that we don't need. So experiment with what is your rhythm. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? And set a reminder in your calendar so that it becomes part of your flow. The second part of this is to think about when and where you will do this. I recently had a flight to Canberra, so I took that time waiting at the airport to do some screenshot organizing. I also take the time, probably once a week or so, when I'm on the train to use that time to sort my screenshots. Where are they going to house them? So have a think about what works for you. For others, it might be watching a bit of fluffy television, something that you can keep your mind half on. So observe some pockets of time that work for you, or make it a solid, clear commitment time for you to do that. It might be part of your weekly review that you go through and put things in their place. All right. Well, I would love to know how many screenshots you have left. So please email me with that information. I would love to hear. And a bonus tip here is to use the favorite button to star your most useful screenshots. So like tickets or reminders, so that they're easy to find in a pinch. But also remember to review those regularly, that those favorites can quickly become non-favorites. So reviewing is essential to this process and to many, if not all, workflows. So keep it flowing. Remember that the screenshots folder is a temporary holding place, not a storage area. So we want to maintain this flow, capture, sort, track. If we are simply just tracking our, if we're simply capturing the screenshots, but then not looking at doing anything with them, we will be perpetually kept in that state of overwhelm and not knowing what the next step is and why we've added to our digital footprint. So take the time to sort through your screenshots and to make sure that you're tracking the task that comes out of it. And if you want to deep dive in this, please look out for the next time management class about this very process. If you need more sorting time, feel free to come along to the next Get Stuff Done party. I am running them Saturdays and Thursdays this year, so feel free to come along to one of those and sort your screenshots. So thank you so much for being with me today and for giving your screenshots the attention that they deserve and just your digital world as a whole. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.